Hey everyone, James from TeaDB here, bringing you a Inbetweenisode, and this one's kind of going to be a little different from probably the vast majority of my Inbetweenisodes. I can't remember the last time I brought on an Oolong and an unaged Oolong nonetheless. So I figure that this is a chance to sort of the COVID-19 and sort of like the self-isolation and social distancing. It's a good opportunity to sort of review some of the past purchases I've done in the last couple years, talk about them and bring them on. I've been meaning to do this for a while and I just hadn't had the chance. So today I am going to be talking about a Taiwanese roasted oolong from a vendor called T-Home. T-Home sold on eBay for a number of years. Last I checked, they are no longer doing so, but their tea is much cheaper if you buy from them direct anyway, so I'd recommend anyone interested to check that out. So it's a operation based in Nantou County in Taiwan, and they do a lot of Dongding slash Dongding style sort of teas. So I'm not too particular to get like bona fide, like certified Dongding, so I'm not like actually 100% positive if this is or not, but this tea is is labeled as the風華再現and then Dongding高山烏龍茶. So that Gaoshan is high mountain, so supposedly it's a high mountain Dongding, so that would mean at least 1,000 meters in the air. And so Garrett and I split a bag, very inexpensive. This tea was only 700 New Taiwan dollars, so that comes out to about $23 for 300 grams, so 7 or 8 cents per gram. So a little hard to beat that, buying from more Western-friendly vendors. Kind of a pain in the butt to order, but, you know, the things will do for tea. So this is steep number 2. I just had steep number 1 just a moment ago just to get some initial notes down. Cheers. It's rich. It's a little nutty, buttery, floral, a lot of really classic flavors. So this one, generally speaking, when I'm buying Taiwanese oolongs, which has been more of a last couple of years thing for me, I'm not terribly interested in the very green types. These tend to be the ones that I just don't go through them very fast. They don't pass the speed test. If you're not sure what that is, Google it or look it up in our past videos. They just don't seem to get consumed as much. I don't mind having them around too much as they're pretty friendly towards other people, but something with just a little bit of roast to it, such as this tea, I find it really hits the spot as far as just like a really good mix of friendly casual brew. This is something you could serve for just about anyone and they would be satisfied. I could serve this for Denny. I could serve this for my parents, for my sisters. Sorry. Yeah. And the aroma was quite a bit stronger earlier. These oolongs change a lot faster than pu'er, so that's steep number 3 there. Gonna do steep number 4 on this. I freshly boiled this water just before turning on the camera. So, cheers, y'all. This one's a little stronger, and I'm enjoying it. It's a little nuttier, a fuller body. There's a hint of just a little overbrewed bitterness there, so may have overdone it very slightly, but quite enjoyable. So I'd expect one of the nice things about these oolongs, well, one of the not nice or nice things, depending on your outlook of them, is they just don't go as long. For me, I'm fine stopping this even now, but probably could go to 7 or 8, maybe 9 or 10 if you really want to do those multi-minute, 5 to 10 minute steeps. But just it's over quite fast, and you know you don't really have that guilt that you might have when you're brewing out some pu'er that's expensive and you just want to keep going, and you might want to have that profile for 5 steeps, but you maybe don't have the time or the energy or the focus to go for 15 steeps. So these teas fill that void nicely because there's no cost guilt with the tea like this when I'm brewing about 5 grams per 75 milliliters. So that's like a 35 to 40 cent brew. You add in the shipping and it's still under 50 cents. So it's really, really hard to complain for the cost for something like this. Is this as good as something like Floating Leaf Tea's Best Dongding? Probably not. But I think for the price, it's hard to compare. So for a really casual drinker of oolong such as myself, I enjoy it, and I've actually almost polished off this bag, so doing quite well on the speed test. I've given some away as well, just because it's the sort of tea that it's just a great compliment. As I've said earlier, you can serve it for a number of people. Here we go, steeping number 4. So changing each steep, moving a little bit away from that nuttiness, more into a mineraliness. It can taste sort of that darker roasty edge. I think some of it is just the brewing. I think the first couple steeps I brewed a little bit lighter than steeps number 3 and 4. So part of it is that. But yeah, it's a perfectly enjoyable tea. I'm not going to give this a rating just because I'm not in the habit of rating oolongs. But it would be right in the sort of like perfectly enjoyable, not like a super special tea, but if you are looking for something to drink on the regular that is just very friendly on the wallet, then that's great. So I'm going to conclude this episode just by talking a little bit about my own relationship with Taiwanese oolongs. So they are similar to Denny, sort of my introduction to tea drinking beyond just like Chinese restaurant tea bag tea drinking. So really got into Taiwanese oolongs first, and kind of figured they'd always be sort of a regular rotation piece. I've never actually disliked drinking them. But when you get into tea, you'll move from category to category. So eventually I moved over to Wui oolongs, exploring those, and then I eventually just got really, really sucked into the world of pu'er tea, and just kind of stopped drinking the teas. So in the past couple of years, as I've sort of settled down into just the sort of tea drinking that I'll probably be doing for basically the rest of my life, I found that, there is some nice place for these teas, and it's not like I want to drink pu'er 100% of the time. I'll drink pu'er 50-60% of the time, and maybe I'll have this 15 or 20%. So really nice teas to have around. Possibly even a nice aging experiment. I may do that in the future, just because it's an inexpensive one. Why not buy it, see how it turns out? So if you're looking for something that's really roasty, this is not quite that, but it does fit a nice ground where it's just a little bit darker, a little bit roastier than those really green ones. So if you find that describes your sort of taste for these teas, definitely recommend checking them out. Not going to do a how-to guide on how to buy from them, but they do ship directly to the U.S. It will just take a bit of fumbling on the site. So this tea is the 风华再现 Lao Dongding 高山 Oolong Cha. So kind of a mouthful. I'll post the Chinese, maybe if I remember, in the description below, so you can try to track it down on Tea Home if you are interested. So thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you all soon.